This is an AMI podcast.
Isn't it nice to think that tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it yet? This is AMI Audiobook Review on AMI Audio. I'm your host, Ramya Amuthin, here with Nisreen Abdelmajid, our technical producer for the show. And it's 2022. Believe it or not, it's here. And we are in a special time. Yes, we made it. And what better way to kick off the year than with a new handful of conversations regarding audiobooks, right, Niz?
Yes, Happy New Year, and I can't wait for the segment.
I know. So because this episode was dropping on January 1st, 2022, I picked a sweet and lovely quote, something like a sentiment for the new year, for new beginnings, for that mindset of, hey, fresh start. And this is from, if you didn't recognize it, Anne of Green Gables, written by Ellen Montgomery. And it is one of my favorite series. Granted, I only read through the series once. I know several people who've just been able to reread and re-listen to the audiobooks. They're so well done. People who just reminisce and have nostalgia on visiting PEI and the cast and the setting of Anne of Green Gables. It's just so gorgeous. I feel like Anne is a character, and everybody in the books are just such memorable entities. So I thought it would be a nice way to start off the new year. And if you haven't checked out Anne of Green Gables yet, not calling anyone out but Nazreen, then please do, because it's awesome.
I'm working on it.
You are. I know you are. So this is nice because it's a fresh journey for you in the audiobook world, Niz, and we've given you so many books and reads and recommendations and authors and people and places and conversations to check out. But if you wanted to put all those aside and start with a fresh new curated list, there are so many cool anticipated audiobooks for 2022, right? And we're going to talk, I thought we would start here because we're going to start to talk about our audiobook listening goals for 2022 in a bit. But before that, why not talk about some of the books that you might be able to check out this year and actually be able to pre-order on places like Audible right now. Literally right now. So, Nisreen, I picked 5 from the Audible blog that we could go over today. And the first one is called Sea of Tranquility. This is by Emily St. John Mandel, the author of Station 11 and The Glass Hotel, if you're familiar with those 2 novels. So I'll tell you a little bit about the book. It returns with a novel that sends the reader across both space and time, from the deepest part of the Canadian wilderness to the dark side of the moon. That's it. The whole thing is going to be a mystery because that's what we have so far. So this one, maybe?
Not really. Anything that has to do with wilderness, I'll just pass.
Okay, yeah. I mean, to me, this sounds a little bit like it's stepping into a fantasy realm, potentially, but no idea.
There's just not enough information for me to, grab onto. So you would read it?
Totally. I think I might try it, but you know what? I would probably have to go back and to Emily's releases of Station 11 and The Glass Hotel and see what they're about. You know, it's kind of these things where if you're a super fan of the author, you're definitely pre-ordering this one. But if you're not sure at all, we'll see, But this one, this one's totally up my alley. It's called Bittersweet. It's by Susan Cain, and she's the author of Quiet. So in this one, because the Quiet was a whole different realm of things. But in this book, she's going to help us realize that experiencing feelings of longing and sorrow can have a surprising impact on our creativity, compassion, leadership, and more. And I think the reason why I lean into this one is when I'm in a writing mode, and Niz, I know you're a bit of an artist too, so let's talk about this one. So when I'm in the mood for writing, music, performance, trying to get into that headspace of creativity, I do pull on the more difficult emotions, right? The harder things in life, the heartbreaks, the pain, the loss, the kind of losing yourself
Mhm.
feels, because it makes for great lyrics, and just tapping into certain parts of yourself that feel like a drag can actually be super helpful for the creative process. And I think anyone who has delved into this realm of creativity knows for sure. And that's like, playwriting, storytelling, authoring, narrating, voice work, like all kinds of things. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think it does make for great content when you put all those feelings in those lyrics, for example. When it comes to writing, I feel like when for example, the song or book that has actual meaning to it, there's
Mm-hmm.
history behind those words, there's something in between the lines that makes for great content. I do not appreciate the music that has nothing to do with anything. I do not appreciate the writing, like books or quotations that doesn't mean anything to me. So that honestly, this is how I genuinely feel about it. So absolutely, I like this book.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I think this is a nice tap into a bit of psychology, but also the creative realm is what draws me in. There's another one on this list that'll get into some psychology, but this one, number 3 on our list, it's called The Palace Papers. Niz, are you keeping up with the royal family and everything that goes on with them?
No, not really. I did
Okay.
before, but I stopped when it stopped trending.
Exactly. Okay. So,
I
very,
think a
very
lot of
honest
people
of you.
did.
Yeah, that's totally true. But we can't deny that there's always drama and situations and
Oh, absolutely.
change, maybe
I do get
evolvement.
curious, I have to be honest,
Yes,
but
totally.
I'm
Well,
not
then,
constantly updated.
okay, well, if you want like the whole package, you might want to check out this book. It's called The Palace Papers by Tina Brown. And this one brings us inside Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle in this rifting story about the members of the royal family. So basically, it encapsulates everything following the death of Princess Diana, the Princess of the People, to today. Brown covers Prince Charles's marriage to Camilla, the allegations around Prince Andrew, the rise in popularity of Kate Middleton, the tension between Harry and William. Sorry, I was going to say Kate and William, and the eventual defection of Harry and Meghan. So it practically covers everything. Now, it's still considered a story, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a bit of nonfiction, but still brought to us in a fictional manner, or if it's going to dig deep into what's actually going on, because that's going to cost a lot of actual fact checking and
Mhm.
quotes and things like that. So I'm curious about where they go with this one, but still something to check out for our royal fans. Next one, I mentioned psychology. Toxic Positivity. So this is by Whitney Goodman, and she says, when the going gets tough, too often the advice we're given is to stay positive or look on the bright side. But therapist Whitney Goodman argues that this endless bombardment of toxic positivity does little to help and can often leave us anxious and depressed. Instead, the answer lies in being honest with ourselves and the true emotions that we're feeling so that we can be truly present. This is something that's been trending a lot, Niz. Like, I'm seeing it all over the place, toxic positivity. And you know what? It is, I find, completely accurate, especially when we look at people's social medias and we think, well, they're living the good life and I'm not. But everyone's doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think social media has a lot to do with toxic positivity. You look at other celebrities or even people only show a great side of their life, obviously. When you look at somebody in a relationship, it gives you a different perception of how it should be, how a relationship should be. There's That's the toxic positivity that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's um basically, the notion of cheer up, will you? Life is going to be good again. But
Mhm.
this book, I think, is going to tap into the realism of our emotions and our feelings and the roller coaster ride that is our life. right? And to kind of tap
Yeah.
into those and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now, and acknowledge. And it's such a crucial point. So I'm really excited about these kind of self-development theories. Like the theories themselves are building beyond just the books coming out, right?
Mhm.
And the last one on our top 5 list of highly anticipated books for 2022 that you may want to check out or pre-order is Burning Questions. And I'm so curious about this one. So Burning Questions is by Margaret Atwood, great Canadian author with lots of incredible and very, very diverse reads. But in this collection of essays, the always prescient and endlessly entertaining Margaret Atwood sets out to answer some of today's most burning questions, comprising of her works from the years 2004 to 2021. Atwood covers everything from climate crisis to the tech industry, from the rise of Trump to how we should
Hmm.
define granola.
Interesting.
So yeah, to talk about diverse, but I'm very curious because again, Margaret Atwood, she just dips into everything so seamlessly. Like she's out here putting out a complete fictional, just beyond life itself type novels, right? Where she's looking at society that does not exist, and then she's going into nonfiction essays where she's talking about the rise of Trump. I think that she's a very, very intelligent and talented author. So looking forward to what she's creating. Her works are always very highly anticipated. Enough said about that. This is our 18th episode, and it's our first episode for 2022. But in the past several months, we've had numerous guests and friends from the blind and low vision community through 2021, and they joined us to talk about their audiobook listening styles, their habits, and they've given us so many recommendations. We've had contributions and regular visits from our friends from CELA, the Center for Equitable Library Access, and a few of them have generously given us some things to talk about today. Basically, some thoughts on the way that their audiobook life might be looking in 2022, some of their goals and things that they're looking forward to. So I'm very, very excited. And Nazreen and I, we have our own goals too. So we'll talk about those throughout. But why don't we start, Niz, with a message from our friend Kamini Radhan?
Okay, I don't really have any reading goals, but I want to read and explore more books by different authors. I'm already doing that, so I guess that's something that I really want to continue doing for the coming year.
Thank you, Kamini. I think that this is a good one. So it's like that balanceness between creating like unattainable New Year's resolutions and kind of saying, well, I'm doing this and I think I'll continue doing it and hopefully do a little more of it this year, right? It seems pretty attainable, like to listen to new authors, give new perspectives and books a chance. I think it's nice.
Yeah, I really feel that because my goal is to listen to more authors, give more authors a chance, and give more story genres a chance. I'm very specific with my genres as well, but yeah, I feel comedy.
Yeah, that's a good point because we fall into like a lot of the I know I like this author, so I'll like this other one. And oh, that was such a good comfort story. Let's see what other ones
Mhm.
that audio that Audible will give me, because of the algorithm that they recommend this based on this listen, right? So we totally get into just like deeper and deeper sticking with familiar books. But you know what? That's why I love the book club, and having somewhere to go where others have recommended books. And it's kind of homework, but it's kind of nice because you can tap into books that you probably would never, ever have picked up.
Yeah, you're
And
forced
yeah,
to give a book a chance, which I want.
totally.
Ramya, I want
Totally.
you to be like, read this book. You have to, no questions asked.
Trust me, join our book club. Like it's the same kind of vibe for me because I'm like, I don't know, man, fantasy, but
Mm,
I'm telling you, there's some really good books that have come out of these initially resistant, but then later on very, very open-minded scenario.
Yeah.
So you got 12 books, Niz. If you start now till the end of the year, you will have 12 books that you've read just based on recommendations.
Crazy.
One book
I
a
will.
month. All right. Okay, cool. Someone who's part of the book club that we have once a month with Amir Khan, Amir's Evening Book Club, is Debbie Eva Williams. So let's hear what she's got to say.
Hi, this is Debbie Eva Williams. My reading goal for 2022 is to read the Will Smith book and also to complete the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. Happy reading and happy 2022.
Okay,
Yes.
first of all,
Yes.
we both are reacting to the Will Smith, right?
Yeah, we've reacted to Will Smith's book before, and we're big fans, obviously.
Totally.
I cannot wait to read his book. I've been waiting for it to come out on Sela. We're waiting. We're waiting
Yep.
for it to be there. So hopefully 2022, baby.
I think that Will Smith's book, I am not even kidding, was one of the best books of 2021 for me and the best memoir that I've listened to. Like, I haven't listened. Okay, I'll be honest. I haven't listened to too many memoirs. But I absolutely loved it. And I'll be more specific. I loved that Will was 100% Will in this book.
Mhm.
It wasn't sugar-coated Will. It wasn't, oh my God, this is the people's Will Smith. It wasn't, this is how they know me as Fresh Prince. So let's bring that. It was every tiny bit of Will that you thought you knew but didn't know. And he comes out in this book. And it was, I think I've mentioned this before on the show too. It was catered to audiobook. It wasn't like he was using the words reading or, when you flip this page or, that kind of thing, like during the book.
Yeah.
It was all catered to audiobook listening. He'd say, hey guys, while you're listening to this audiobook, ...
I
Like it
love
was
that.
very
I love
specific.
that.
I know. And there was so much color, like so much color. There were audio clips. There were pieces from his radio life, his rapping, his grandma, his music, his playing, like theme songs from all of his different careers stuff. Like everything you can imagine was in this book, and it was so well capsulated. I loved it. Did I mention I loved it?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I see your reaction, your review of the book makes me want to grab this book so fast.
ASAP.
I can't wait because as I mentioned, I'm a big fan. You can tell he works hard for what he does. I want to follow
Yeah.
his career in detail. So I cannot wait. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that because we're
Yeah,
fangirling
I
so
know.
hard right now.
I know. But Debbie, back to you. Will stole the spotlight for a second there, but it's a really specific. I love that you want to finish the series that you've started and have some books on your list that you want to get to. Some of our lists are so freaking long. Amir, we're looking at you. That you're just constantly wading through the list. So this is awesome, Debbie. Good luck to you, and I know you're gonna reach those goals. Okay, up next, we want to get to some more messages. Kelly McDonald wanted to tell us about his goals for 2022.
Hello, everyone. Kelly McDonald here, host of Kelly and Company. I know we have a book club on our program where we discuss a book we've read each month, and that gives me a lot of variety. However, I used to be very much good about changing up what I read, venturing out and trying something different, whether it be a science fiction book or even a biography on someone. So now I'm in this pattern of whether it's crime or some slight violence in an action book. That seems to be with police procedure what I'm going for. I have a couple of historical books I want to check out. One I've had for a year sitting there, and my pledge is to get at it. Change it up a little bit and read something different that I actually do like. That's a genre, history, or maybe a person in history that I'd like to read up on. So my pledge for 2022 is to start varying it a little bit more and try going back to some of the genres I used to read. So let's do it.
the kind of like the opposite of going to new books. First of all, thanks, Kelly. Shout out to you. But yeah, totally. The feel of wanting to go back to some of the things that you're personally interested in, right? Because you know what? I've been there too, where you're so caught up in recommendations or finishing up the book for the book club, or just not having enough time because something amazing was out on Netflix, you know? So it's it's really taking out the time to go back to some of the things that you're interested in, or the classics, or more by the
Mhm.
authors that you love, and tapping into those, giving yourself the time and the space to be able to revisit these books that you love. I think that this could also spin into a guilty pleasure conversation. You know what I mean? Like we talked
Yes.
last year about having some of those guilty pleasure reads, because those reads remind you on like a very cozy level why you love listening to audiobooks, right? So
It's
I
your
totally
comfort
get that.
level. Your
Mm-hmm.
comfort level, absolutely. Like I said, I used to read cliche books, and that was my comfort spot. That was a
Yeah.
guilty pleasure of mine. I was ashamed of my, teenage books back in the day. I don't know about reading history books. That's something that I don't think I would ever do.
I
But you
think
never
it
know, because
has
in
to
the book
be,
club,
yeah,
yeah, I might take
in
a
the book
chance in the
club.
book club.
There you go. And that's the thing, right? Usually when I think of like a boring history thing, it's like, oh no, this is a book that I have to read because everyone else has read it and everyone seems to know about it. But you're kind of dragging your feet because it's not the type of book that you would read, or you have some negative connotations with reading history books. But when somebody recommends
Mhm.
something that has historical context, it's more you listen to why they're recommending it, and then you think, okay, I can understand why this person would listen to this type of book, and go for it that way. We have
Yeah.
two more messages that we want to squeeze in because we really appreciate everybody sharing their 2020 goals or 2022 goals. God, I skipped like 2 years back. Anyway, here's Amir Khan.
My book goals for 2022 are pretty simple. It's to ask each member of my book club what their absolute favorite book is and try to read it by the end of 2022.
Oh. So
Love
what's your
it.
favorite book of 2021, Ramya?
Oh, did I say Will? Okay. I kind of take it back. I said Will by Will Smith, but it is actually
Mm.
The Invisible Life of Adi LaRue by V.E. Schwab's. And this book was so good. But this was already a book for the book club, so I'll have to think of another one for Amir. But love the goal, Amir. Not only are you taking in recommendations for your own personal reads, but you want to put it out there for other people to read. And this is the kind of sharing and caring that we get in book clubs. I love it so much. All right, our last message of the day is from our friend Ben Okwako, and he's the one who brought up the guilty pleasure stuff. So it's full circle
Yeah.
here. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello, everybody. This is Ben here, and I just want to wish you all a happy new year. So, as we all know, 2022 is upon us, and you know what that means, some new audiobook releases. So, usually every year, what I try and do is at least read 10 audiobooks. But this year, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to double that. I'm going to listen to 20 audiobooks. So, what I'm going to do is expand my horizons, listen to different genres, listen to different styles, get out of my element. So I will definitely do that by listening to audio book review with my two friends, Ramya and Nazreem. So once again, Happy New Year's to you, Ramya. Happy New Year's to you, Nazreem. And Happy New Year's to all those listeners of AMI Audio Book Review. So I hope that everybody has a wonderful 2022 filled with amazing, incredible, fantastic audiobooks.
Aw, Ben.
Woohoo, Ben!
Such a
Talk
sweet
about a
message.
shout out. I
Doubling
know.
his audiobooks?
Yep,
Wow.
that's a goal. That's a goal. This is like an actual like New Year's resolution goal, you know?
You
This
can
is
do
a
it.
tight
You can
one.
do it, Ben.
He got it. Yeah, he got it.
Yeah.
Just speed up your books, Ben. You're good. Okay. Niz, this has been awesome. I love reflecting with people. I love jumping into the new year with people and talking audiobooks all the time. Love that. So thank you for sharing that with me and with everybody else. This is it for AMI Audiobook Review, the first episode of 2022. We'll be back in a week, but until then, happy audiobook listening.
This was an AMI podcast. For more accessible media, visit ami.ca.